This is video number 48 for bass students, and in this video we're going to be playing some eighth notes that we have on page number 20. Before we do that, I do of course want to review the eighth notes from the previous video, just to make sure that we all know kind of how these happen. Now, I know this is kind of far back now, but just remember what we did is we took a full beat of a quarter note and divided it into two equal halves. Two halves make a whole. An eighth note gets half of a beat. It takes two eighth notes to make one quarter note. Now, remember the rule that I told you in the last one. An eighth note gets a number or a tay. A quarter note gets a number and a tay. And that's particularly important when we're playing with our metronome. From now on, for most of the videos, when I have my metronome on, it's going to be clicking eighth notes. Now let's say you're practicing and you don't have eighth notes on your metronome. Here's something that you can do. 60 is typically my tempo, okay? If an eighth note is twice as fast as a quarter note, if this is at 60 and I want to create eighth notes, kind of fake eighth notes, not really fake, but if I want to create eighth notes at the speed of 60, what could I do here? If my metronome doesn't do eighth notes like this one does, all I have to do is double the tempo. So I would, instead of putting 60 as a tempo, I'd have 120 as the tempo, and that'll get you the right speed. Okay, so you can do that if your metronome does not make the eighth notes. So a quarter note gets a number and a tay. It gets two halves of the beat. Two halves make one beat, right? Two halves of the whole. So it's going to get a number and a tay. So when we're playing these, the eighth notes, let's review eighth notes first and just playing them, okay? So go ahead and get your bass up. A quarter note gets a number and a tay, an eighth note gets a number or a tay. How does that relate to our metronome? A quarter note is now going to get both clicks. So the eighth notes are clicking, two eighth notes to one quarter note. Play four quarter notes with me. Two clicks, not two beats, two clicks for a quarter note. And red, open D, red, C, and go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, try that again. Two clicks, but one beat. Red, C, and go. 1, 2, tay, 3, tay, 4, tay. Notice I'm playing through the number and the tay. I'm playing 1 tay, 2 tay. Both clicks, both halves of the beat. Now let's do eighth notes. Use half of your bow. One measure of eighth notes. 4 beats of eighth notes. With me? 1 tay, 2 tay, eighth notes, and go. 1 tay, 2 tay, 3 tay, 4 tay. Now just think about that for a second. 4 beats of eighth notes. 4 beats. How many eighth notes in each beat? Two halves make a whole. So 2 eighth notes in each of the 4 beats. How many eighth notes are there in a measure of 4/4 time then? There are 8 eighth notes. That's where it got its name. Okay? So it's an eighth of a measure. Now it's only true in 4/4 time, but you know what? That is your most common time signature, and it's the only one we know right now. Okay? So 8 eighth notes in 4/4 time. Now I do not want you to count your eighth notes like this. Don't count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not a good idea. Okay, you might think it's easier now, but I'm trying to prepare you for more difficult rhythms. And it's very important that you understand what beat you are on, not which eighth note you're on. I'm on the 7th eighth note. You need to know what beat in the measure you're on. Okay, so play that again while I'm counting 1 tay, 2 tay. One measure of eighth notes. Red, C, and go. 1 tay, 2 tay, 3 tay, 4 tay. Go back to quarter notes. And red, C, and go. 1 tay, 2 tay, 3 tay, 4 tay. Quarter note gets both the number and the tay. All right. Now let's look back up here on the board. I kept this measure up here that I did in the last video for a reason, because when we are actually playing this, the eighth note's going to get 1 click, not 1 beat, 1 click, because these are clicking eighth notes. The quarter note gets 2 clicks, just like you just did, the number and the tay. So the eighth notes are the fast notes, and we have 4 of them, and then we have 2 slow notes, 2 quarter notes. So watch. 1 tay, 2 te, forte. Both clicks, both halves of the whole beat. Okay, watch that again. And ready, go. 1 te, 2 te, 3 te, 4 te. 1 te, 2 te, 3 te, 4 te. Half a bow on each of these. Full bow, full bow. All right. Now I want you to look at number 66 in your book. Now in the last video, I believe I told you to get your pencil out, and I didn't tell you what to do with it. So we're going to do that now. On number 66, you see in the bottom how it counts 1 and 2 and. I want you to go through and change all those ands to tays. Change it to where it says tay, T-E. Because I want you to get used to counting tays. Remember, this is the Eastman counting system. The other counting system is just fine. I just prefer this one. I believe it makes a little bit more sense, and it's very important that you understand and use a counting system so that you can learn more difficult rhythms and become a very independent player. All right, so we're going to try to do number 66. This is the rhythm on the board that you see in measure 1 of 66. It's also measure 2 and 3 of 66. But look at measure 4. Don't be fooled by that one. That's where the trick is, right? You got to make sure you don't play during the rest at the end. Okay? 66, play it with me. And 1 half a bow for the 8th notes. 1 te on your open Ds. All right. 1 te, 2 te, 66, open D, go. 1 te, 2 te, 3 te, 4 te. 1 te, 2 te, 3 te, 4 te. 1 te, 2 te, 3 te, 4. Careful. 1 te, 2 te, 3 te. Stop. Now you should have stopped at the tip of your bow. If you went up bow, you probably played through the rest, okay? So you might need to try that again. That is a tricky spot there. Now look at 67. I'm going to teach you to do something kind of strange, and you're just going to have to believe me when I say that it will be helpful for you, okay? It's going to seem so weird. You're like, why? What? Why is this necessary in life? Well, just trust me on this. It will help you, especially when you're in a teacher-student kind of situation where I'm playing something while you're trying to learn it. You might have at some point already been playing a song and you made a mistake and you heard your mistake and it caused you to mess up again. We want to try to avoid that, okay? So this is called shadow bowing. What you're going to do is you're going to do everything but make sound. All right, so what I'm going to do when I shadow bow, I don't want to make sound on the instrument. Some people will put their bow in here to shadow bow. I don't like that as much. What I want you to do is put it here. Now, does your bow hold matter too much right now? You can't really do a bow hold. Just don't grip it like a club and I'm happy. Have a nice relaxed thing so your bow arm is kind of relaxed, okay? So I'm going to shadow bow the first measure of 67. Now, it's not just bowing. You're also going to do the fingers. Do you see I'm doing the rhythm? 1 te, 2 te, 3 te, 4 te. I'm doing the rhythm here. But full shadow bowing is also doing the song here. Now, I want you to notice that 67 has a shift in it, doesn't it? Okay? We're just doing measure 1 right now. So look at my left hand. I have my high D down. And watch. D, 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 C sharp, C sharp. Did you see me switch to C sharp? Okay, you need to switch to C sharp. All right, try that again, or try that with me now. Shadow bow, measure 1. High D is down, and we're going to freeze at the end of measure 1. Shadow bow, and red, C, and no. D, 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 C sharp, C sharp. Pause, and now look at your hand. It should be next to your shoulder, and your left hand has 2 fingers down. Okay, now let's try measure 2. Go down to first position, shadow bow, and 4 fingers down for B. Measure 2 only, and red, C, and go. B, 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 A, A. Now freeze. You should have 1 finger down because you switched. Okay, now I want you to shadow bow while I play number 67. We're going to go all the way to the end. I'm going to warn you again, the last measure has a rest. Don't play during that rest. Okay, shadow bow. This way you're going to hear it while you're playing, and it will help you know when to change notes and not make mistakes. Okay, shadow bow, you're here while I'm playing. 67. 1, te, 2, te, you are shadow bowing, go. D, D, C sharp. Now I'm going to shift. A, now G, F sharp, E, D, rest. Now, if you ended up here, you probably didn't do the rest, okay? Now, something else that might help you learn this song, look at the title of this song. It's called Pepperoni Pizza. If you will say the words Pepperoni Pizza as you're playing, it will help you learn this song, okay? So watch. Pepperoni is on high D. Pepperoni Pizza, right? So as you're changing words, you're also changing notes. That might help you. Now, why didn't I tell you that at the beginning? Because here's the thing. I don't really want you counting rhythms with just made up random words. We want to use the one te, two te. That's going to train you to be a better musician and be able to play any rhythm you want, all right? However, at this beginning stage, if it will help you play the song, wonderful, okay? So try playing it with me now. And again, pepperoni on high D, pizza on C sharp, pepperoni on B, pizza on A. If you didn't notice, it's just going down the D major scale. Don't play doing the rest, okay? So it's no pepperoni pizza at the end, it's just pepperoni Pete. Okay, play now with me, high D down. 1 te, 2 te, red C, and go. Pepperoni pizza. G, sound careful. Pepperoni Pete, rest. Okay? Practice that one until you get that right. It's pretty important that you not try to go on to 68 or 69 and that you are able to read rhythms and read your notes and bow and change fingers and all of that stuff before you try to do new rhythms. So practice 66 and 67, particularly 67, until you can't mess it up, and then you'll be ready for your next video.